Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and today we have a king representing the state of Washington. Brad Chandler is an investment-friendly agent specializing in buy and hold, fix and flips, burr, small multifamily, and house hacking. Realtor in Yamaka for 8 years. Brad possesses a deep understanding of complex transactions, which he leverages to help his clients have a stress-free experience and get them over the finish line. With over a decade of experience in sales and marketing, his decision to pursue a career in real estate has been nothing short of a dream come true. His vast expertise in home construction, concrete pouring, painting, rental management, and real estate investments has enabled him to bring a wealth of knowledge to the table. Whether you're in search for your first home, your dream home, or investment property, or anything in between, it is a privilege to guide his clients through the buying process. Check out his weekly educational videos on Facebook or Instagram if you're curious about the buying or selling process. You can get in touch with Brad at wbradchandler.com or wbradchandler on Instagram and 509-312-0921. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Brad. Hey, Brad, how are you? Happy Friday.
Hey, happy Friday. How are you? Happy Valentine's Day.
Hey, happy Valentine's, man. Hope you're having your best day ever.
I think so. We'll find out. It's just starting. So
nice, man. Brad, man, thank you for sharing your time with me today. It's an honor. Can you tell us a little bit, like, what made you want to get into real estate and what year you got in?
Let's see. I've been licensed for. This is the 9th year, right?
This was 2025.
This will be my 9th year. It was in spring, so that would be 2016, 2017. I actually became a realtor because my realtor pissed me off and wouldn't get back to me about looking at these houses because I had bought an investment property. I wanted to see another one. I was like, well, I'll just get my license and let myself in. I don't want to have to wait to call somebody. So I did, and then I did it part-time for a few years. I was like, actually, I like this better. I was writing and selling radio commercials for 11 years before this. So, yeah. And now, however many years later, I've got a team of, there's 8 of us now. So,
nice.
That's good.
No, good for you, man. You're scaling up. Do you remember how you got your first client?
My first transaction was a nightmare. I almost quit. It was so awful. It was a referral from a friend, and we were looking at houses, and they would, the husband and wife would start yelling at each other about where they're going to put the litter box, like insulting each other, bad, screaming. So I had a friend that did a showing for me one day, and I gave him a heads up. Hey, there's going to be a fight about this litter box, just so you know. So when I got back, I said, how'd the litter box fight go? And he goes, Brad, they don't have a cat. And I said, what do you mean they don't have a cat? And he goes, well, they're renting. They're going to get a cat when they buy the house. I was like, they yell at each other and they don't have a cat. So then it got worse. They were both rather large people. You know those basement windows are only about this big? They're not huge. They got in a fight of which one was fatter and could fit through the window. And the husband goes and opens the window. I'm like, he can't fit. Like, please do not try to squeeze out that window. Luckily, he didn't, because I was like, you're not going to fit and get stuck, and I'm going to have to call the list agent and be like, hey, my client's stuck in your window. So then it gets worse. So I get them under contract, and they find a house they like, but the paperwork's taking forever on the list agent side. So finally, I call my designated broker's like, hey, you got to call, like, you can't just keep doing extensions. So come to find out, the seller is in jail. So every time we send paperwork, the list agent has to go get on the jail visitation list, go into the jail, get an initial, come back out. So if we miss one initial, she can only go on Mondays to visit.
Once a week, yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, oh. So then this transaction gets so bad. Like I said, I almost quit. I was like, this is awful. This is not, like, I don't think I want to do this. So then the house is white. It's an FHA loan. There's some exposed wood, right? We got to cover that.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell my client, like, hey, the seller's in jail. If you want to do this FHA, you need to show up, because primer for paint is white and the house was white. Just primer over it so you can't see the wood, and then we'll be fine. And he's like, great. And I drive by after the weekend when he says he's going to do it. The house is white. He used Smurf blue paint. So there's Smurf blue dots all over this house.
No.
And I'm thinking, like, thank God the seller's in jail, because, like, if he wasn't in jail, he's going to jail for what he's going to, like, if this doesn't close, you've got Smurf blue paint all over a white house. So it finally closed. I think after my split, I got like $2,000, and I was like, I don't think this is worth $2,000.
Yeah, that's a roller coaster. Unnecessary headaches.
So my second transaction was a really nice house, was super smooth. So I was like, okay, if I could do more of these and less of these crazy ones. I mean, we still do a lot of crazy transactions, but you know, we get some smooth ones here and there.
Yeah, of course, man. And what do you think was a turning point in your career where your eyes actually lit up and like, wow, I'm about to take market share?
So we have about a 6 or 7% market share here. The team does. But part of it is, what year did rates go up? 22? Was it 2022 when rates went up?
April, May 2022. Yep.
So, you know, it went up, and Cassie, my assistant's here, but she doesn't want to go on camera. But I told her she has to be here in case I forget anything or have questions about what we do, but she won't go on camera. So if I look over there, that when I'm like, hey, so what really pivot, you know, it was, you know, 2020, the second half of 21 and the first half of 22, right? You could be incompetent and you were selling houses. The rates are 3%. And then the rates went up, and like happened to everyone, it just slowed everything way down. And, you know, we were running out of money. I was like, Cassie, like, I don't know, I'm going to start an OnlyFans or something if we don't start figuring out how to sell houses. And so I've always, like, I got my license so I could go look for projects, and I'd flip like a house, maybe 2 a year. I had 2 rentals at the time. And I go see this house, and it's so bad. It's this deep in junk and a pathway. There's a mattress soaked in blood, but I can get it for so cheap. I'm like, when I flip this, like, this might be what I need to do, because I got to figure out how to stay in business right now. So I had a contractor friend who I'd sold some investment properties to, because the house was so bad. I was like, hey, I don't have enough money to buy it and fix it. Do you want to buy this and split it with me? So me and him partnered and bought that one. And that really, you know, now we're building, like, I still got like, I created my own listing, right? I'm building my own inventory. I don't have to compete with anybody. And that was really what turned the corner for us to, like, we got the money from the flip. We obviously stayed open. And then that side of our business has exploded. That we bought 10 last year.
I thought it was 15.
We bought 10, or maybe Cassie says 15. So we flipped 15 houses last year.
Jeez. It's a lot.
Yeah,
you like multiple crews of subcontractors, I'm guessing.
Yeah, so my business partner on that is a contractor with like 20 employees. So it's been really cool. So now we keep some, we sell some, but like, we have 3 listings coming on in the next 2 weeks that are all houses we did. So I don't, you know, there's no competition. I'm the list agent. So that really turned the corner for us when the market's doing bad, and now we're creating. So like in 2023, I didn't have the team yet. I mean, I sold 61. No, 23, 60.
64.
I sold 64 or 68 houses in 23. So when everyone else was struggling, like, we were killing it. And then I did 77 units by myself last year. The team did 118. So it really, and then what's been amazing about this flipping thing we started was 5 or 6 of them we bought last year are realtors calling me saying, hey, I got this crappy listing. I don't want to deal with it. Will you come and buy it from me?
Well, you're coming like a local celebrity in that niche.
Well, that's what I just got a text from a realtor this morning. Same thing. Hey, we got this bad listing. You want it? I text her a price. She goes, yep, thank you. I always appreciate that you make this easy. You know, and so it's like, it's been kind of neat, because now, like, the realtors are now my clients. You know, I mean, so it's been a real but that was really to turn the corner. And like I said, so we keep some as rentals, we flip some and sell some, but that's what really kind of turn the corner on. You know, if we're going to not make this in 2022, we're going down fighting, and I'm going to buy this house and we're going to figure it out to stay in business. And then that, like I said, then that just blew up. And I think it's you know, it's a lot of what I do for content is just our houses. People like to watch, you know, what disgusting things we find in houses. And, you know, someone asked the other day, like, well, you play those up to make them look worse than they are, don't you? And I said, no, actually, we downplay it because they're so gross that, like, you wouldn't believe me if I showed you, like, the amount of, like, they've bought a couple now that have piles, a lot of blood in them. Like, one had bloody handprints up the wall. And
jeez.
We know the difference in smell between regular filth and a dead body. You're like, oh, they died in here. You can smell it. So I didn't know that would be a skill I would acquire. When someone's like, how'd you know that? I was like, dead body smells different. So
it's wicked.
So that's what really turned the corner and really because when I was younger, I framed houses and poured concrete too before I was selling radio ads. So I don't do any. When I first started doing it, I did all the work myself. Now we don't do any of it ourselves.
No, you delegate. You're in the position to delegate now.
Yeah. So, but yeah, then we started the team last year, and it did awesome. So it's all been really good. But that starting the flipping thing really opened my eyes to a lot of stuff and how this works. I don't know, just it's a whole different ball game now. Where we've got 7 remodels going right now.
Whoa.
We actually bought our first land. We're going to develop 11 lots.
Nice.
But that land came from a realtor that was like, hey, I got this crappy land with this crappy manufactured home on it. You want it? Like, I don't want to deal with it. And we found out we could subdivide it and it had utilities. So
yeah, it's like you found like the water. I think one of the caveats like buying land is finding the water supply. I feel like, right?
Yeah, so it's actually 2.5 acres in town, kind of tucked away. So it had all the city utilities to it. It just had this 1970s hoarder manufactured home on it. Damn. And so he didn't want to deal with listing it because you're not going to list it. But then we found out we could subdivide it. So it's been, like I said, it's been really cool to see, like, the realtors are now all my clients.
Yeah, they're like your referral partners now.
They're like, hey, I got a deal for you. So, so that's changed everything. Building our own inventory, creating our own inventory. I mean, we still do all the normal open houses and cold calling and door knocking, and because we just hired our 4th agent. Our 4th agent starts today.
Good for them.
So actually, she's probably here somewhere because. So.
I'll start dying for dollars.
Yeah. So.
No, congrats, Brad. The fact that you found that that manufacturer with 11 lots. If that goes well for you, like, you could probably start doing more of that too.
Well, that was Uriel's my business partner. He's like, Brad, if this works, like, I was like, oh, I know what this means. Like, it means we're becoming developers. And our theory was that we can find, the big developers want 50 and 100 lots. If we can find places that are 10 and 11 and, stay smaller than, the really big builders,
you can find your niche.
We think there's a bigger market out because a lot of people don't know what to do with land.
No, you're totally right on that.
Like, this realtor was like, I don't, do you want it? And I was like, we'll take anything if the price is right. So
there it is. Nah, man, you manifest and execute on that 11 lot land so you can keep doing more of that later in the year. And what do you think is like the most misunderstood thing about like buying real estate in today's world in 2025 for like the average consumer?
I think maybe not the average. I guess for the average consumer, I think they don't understand that. Like, when I bought my first house, it was a long time ago, but my payment was $1,237 a month, which at the time I was paying $650 a month rent. Like, it was almost double what I was paying. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go broke. How am I ever going to afford this? And they don't realize that, like, That's how I got my first HELOC, so I could buy my first project property, so I could start like get your foot in the game, and then the market will help you. And I know like rates suck right now, but too bad. Get your foot in the game. Prices are still going up, especially where we live. And then the market will be on your side. And all of a sudden, you're going to put time on your side. And now you're going to build a bunch of equity and wealth, and just by living somewhere. And I think if more people understood that, like, just get your foot in the game. I know that first payment sucks and it's higher than you want it to be, but rent's going to go up too. Like, it is what it is. Like, you got to get, you got to get your foot in the game. But and then on a investing standpoint, I think that there are too many YouTube channels or influencers trying to tell people how to invest in real estate that really make it sound super. And I was like, it's not. Like, stop watching YouTube. That's not how it works. Like, when it's your money on the line and you're going to lose your house if you screw this up, you're going to make decisions differently than whatever that YouTuber told you. And so many people watch, and you'll hear them like, well, Brad, you could get a hard money loan, or you could do this. You're like, but you don't want to borrow that much money. And we've bought a handful of them of flips gone wrong, where people all of a sudden realize like, oh, this is, even though we do it at large scale, it's still a very high risk activity.
No, it truly is.
And we're wrong. My suggestion is always like, if you can buy the property and whatever you think the repairs are at 50%, and if the deal makes sense, then do it. Because usually you're going to come in 50% wrong because something you didn't see, something breaks. It takes longer than you think.
No, you're right though. You're completely right.
It's like, because people be like, oh, well, it'll be 30,000. I was like, I can guarantee you it's not going to be 30,000. Like, because everything. I have an example of, we bought this house, and this is what I tell new agents that are like, we're going to do this. I'm like, we bought a house. We owned it for an hour and then realized the whole roof had to get torn off and redone. So now we're $10,000 over budget an hour into owning it. Like, this is how bad these things can go. And if your profit margin was only 20 grand, half of it just went out the window. And then, because it's going to take longer than you think. So just remember, we do this a lot. We looked at it and we missed something and went, oh shit, the whole roof, like the sheeting and everything had to come off. And now we've owned it an hour and we're way off on what we thought. So I just think there's too much YouTube. I think your average person starting investing, like, go buy a house and turn the basement into a separate unit. Be patient. This is way harder than YouTube's going to make it look like. And I 100% guarantee something's going to go wrong.
No, you're totally right on that. You're totally right on that. You're right. It either takes too long, or something you didn't put in the budget, and
and both sometimes. And you're like, oh, both happened. Awesome, that's cool. Well, we're selling one next week that we've owned for 2 years because it took longer than we thought.
Holy smoke!
I mean, we were subdividing it. We knew it was going to take a long time, and we subdivided it and sold the houses separately. But so we knew the subdivision was going to take a long time, and we're going to make a lot more. It was worth it. But remember, guys, like, I've had to carry carrying costs for 2 years. It's going to work out good, but like, you might not be in a position doing your first one where you can just eat that.
No, you're totally right.
So,
due diligence is a must. And then going to flipping. And do you think there's any other like misconceptions that people have about real estate?
I think there's a lot of conceptions, unfortunately, about that it's easy and you're just letting people into houses. And that's like a tiny fragment of the job. You're dealing with people's feelings, their emotions. Finances is a touchy subject. Like, it's not, opening houses and writing offers is actually quite easy. It's having these clients, be scared, be mad, be whatever it is about whatever else is going on in their life, and then you're dealing with it because it's their feelings to go, hey, it's going to be all right. It's 10:30 on a Tuesday. I really didn't want to talk to you right now about this. I think, this call about your feelings could have been a tomorrow call, but apparently here we are because you called 5 times. Because it is. I mean, it's every day. My son just got his license like a month or 2 ago and joined the team.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of my thing with him. Like, bud, you're working all the time because your phone can ring at any minute and now you're working again. Even if you're planning to go do something else today, even if you're like, oh, So I just don't think people realize, like, it's not, if you want to be successful, it's a 60, 70, 80 hour a week job. Like, if you're going to try and do it in 40, you're probably not going to. You're not going to do well. But I think that's, like I said, you're always on. You always got to be ready to go.
Yeah, you got to do like a bunch of outbound just to get a little inbound. So
my son's been cold calling 3 or 4 hours a day and doing 12 hours of open houses a week. And he's got his first walkthrough this weekend for a listing. And I was like, you're doing good, actually, bud. You're pacing ahead. He's like, Dad. I was like, and you got a couple other people you're working, I think he's got 3 people now. He's trying to get qualified for loans. I was like, bud, 2 months to have 4 potential things is actually a lot.
No, yeah, it super is, man.
And he's like, I thought I would have sold something by now. And I said, bud, you're not going to sell anything till May if you're lucky. And he goes, you could tell the look on his face. He goes, are you being serious? I was like, oh, yeah, bud, like,
That's hilarious.
But it is. It's a lot of outbound. It's a lot to get started. It's just so much work. And a lot of new agents, I think, get discouraged when they see like when I get a referral and they're like, you didn't do anything. You sat there and answered your phone. And they're like, hey, bring over the paperwork and sign. We need to list our house. And they're like, yeah, because I've been doing this a lot. I've made a lot of outbound calls. I've, closed a lot of transactions to get referrals. So.
No, you've probably already done your 10,000 hours at this point.
Exactly. We did our 10,000 hours a long time ago. So, but that's the hard part. It's just a lot of outbound.
No, truly. But what's your recommendation? Someone who comes into the industry, like, what's your best advice that they can close a deal within 2 to 3 months?
Cassie laughed because I give the same advice to every new person. Not one will ever listen to me. They always go tell me they're going to do something else. And finally, like a couple of months ago, one of them did exactly what I said. And a few months later, he came back and goes, Brad, you're not going to believe it. I did exactly what you said and it's working. And I was like, I know. Thank you for being the first person that actually listened.
It's not your first rodeo.
Yeah, like, but I've done this. So do as many open houses as you can because twofold. One, you can get leads. But 2, part of the problem is you don't know how to talk to somebody about real estate. And every person that comes in is giving you the chance to answer questions, figure things out, learn where to find information. And if I screw it up and say something stupid to you at an open house, it doesn't matter. You're not my client. We can move on. And I think as you do it longer, you get I'm very comfortable. If, like Cassie said, what are you talking about? I said, I don't know, whatever he wants. Like, because I've talked to, you can ask me anything about it. I know the answer. I've had every problem you can think of. When you're new, when someone asks you anything, you're like, I have no clue what the answer is.
Yeah, like a deer looking at headlights.
So I tell them, I'm like, even if you don't get leads, keep doing open houses. And you can get a lead too, because, they are people there. But that way you can screw it up on people that don't matter. They're going to leave. They're going to move on. You can come back and be like, hey, where do I find this information? But then the other part of it is to get started. What city are you guys out of?
Springfield, Virginia, close to 30 minutes away from DC.
Okay. What's your average home price there?
Like $550.
So if here I tell people our average home price is $365. Okay. So I tell them like stay under 300. Don't go too low. You don't want to be in complete garbage, but like that. So like there you might go a little bit below the average. And the reason is that's more likely to be a first-time buyer and a less educated buyer because you don't have to be smart. You just have to be smarter than your client. And a lot of them here are like trying to do $1 million open houses. And I'm like, that's a very educated, sophisticated buyer. They've bought and sold real estate. They're going to smell you're new when you walk in. But the guy buying the $275,000 house is 22. He doesn't know any more than you do. Or you know this much more than he does, which that's all you have to know is barely more, and he doesn't know you don't know. Because I think a lot of new agents try to like do $1 million listing and they're like, Brad, or open houses, like, yeah, but if I sell one, the commission's $25,000 or $30,000. And I'm like, hey guys, I can sell 4 $250,000 homes 10 times faster than you can sell that $1 million home. I guarantee it, all day, every day. Like it's a harder, it's a more sophisticated, like stay at the lower price point. They're less educated. And then as you learn more, start stepping that up. But don't, that $1 million guy, he knows, he probably has a realtor. Some of them are smart enough they can do it themselves. They're like, I can just fill this out myself. So stay there, cut your teeth on that less educated, less sophisticated buyer, because they're going to not know that you don't know what you're doing. And then, like I said, bump it up. So this new agent did it this year. He did not agree with, I was like, just try it. And he came back. He's like, Brad, it worked. Like, I had my best year ever. I was like, now you're educated. Now start bringing up your price point. But I would still, until you've been doing it a while, whatever the average house price is in your market, stay right in there. Because that's where the bulk of, you're looking volume, right? Especially when you're new. Like, you just need a lot of people to come through. And when you get up at that higher price point, less people are coming.
Truly.
So that's my advice. Only one person's ever done it, but he said it works. My son's working on it. Like, and I was like, trust me, bud, it'll work. But he's only been an agent, like I said, for a little while. But yeah, that's, if you're new, that's how I would start. I mean, that's how I did start. And that's how I think would be the way to start.
What you're saying makes total logical sense. Like, hone your craft before you go out to the deep ocean. Because you're right, those sharks can't smell you from a mile away.
Mm-hmm.
And then, have you started implementing AI into your system and structures yet, or is that something you're pondering this year?
Do we use AI?
We use it sometimes if we do like reel captions or
a little bit.
We haven't dabbled on. We've looked into lead generation stuff, but we haven't dabbled yet.
I guess Cassie says we do some. So we do like. Cassie really runs the team. That's why she's here. I don't always know what we're doing or how we do it. And she's been instrumental in running everything. So I don't go places without her. But that's my real secret to success, is that I let her run everything and I just do my part.
Play to your strengths.
So we've talked about using more AI. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think there's going to be a place for it. And our conversation has been like, we better stay ahead of the curve when it's coming and you can fight it, or you can figure out how to, be the person running it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you can leverage it to for old data, your database. Like, you can just to run it, just to get in to start talking to you, engaging.
Mm-hmm.
Once you start engaging, you just put a human on.
Yeah. And so it's, it's coming. I think we're all going to have to figure out how to do it. I think anyone that doesn't is you'll be left behind.
No, truly, yeah. I think this year that you're going to see it really take off for like a lot of businesses.
Mm-hmm.
What's one of the biggest lessons you've learned from so far from your career that really stick with you?
I think, I think the other thing we did right is when the market was shifting,
mm-hmm.
what we did was different, that I think is, you should manage your expenses. I'm not saying don't, but I think a lot of agents, what happened was they cut their expenses so far that they weren't ready for the comeback when it came. And that's why I'm a step ahead of them. Is I held the line on some things because I was like, I can't cut that, because if I cut that, what am I going to do when the market comes back? I'm not going to have the bandwidth to do it. And so to kind of hold that line has kind of been, even when you do go through, because it doesn't matter how good you are, there are going to be slow times. But to hold that line, stick with the system. We know the system works compounded over time. That you will be successful and do that. And you got to be ready, like I said, for the comeback, for things to get ready, for, you can't cut everything and then go, well, now people are coming back, but I don't have the infrastructure to help that anymore. It's a more expensive way to do it, but I think in the long run, it works a lot better.
No, you're totally right. Because onboarding somebody or onboarding anything, there's a learning curve to it.
Yeah.
So, obviously, yeah. You keep keeping it around. It's more smooth attraction for you. And is there like, do you do coaching at all, or is there like a book, podcast, or article that like has helped you in the real estate?
I have the best coach, Jamie Cox, in the whole world, bar none. Then I listen to a lot of books on tape, like when I'm at the gym, or not books on tape. They're called audio books now. Huh? You know how old I am now that I said books on tape. I just got done listening to The Psychology of Money, which was really interesting. About how investing works and just different theories, observations, why we do things societally, which are based on all sorts of craziness. Before that, I listened to Never Split the Difference. Anyone that joins my team gets given Think and Go Rich and How to Win Friends and Influence People. I probably read both those books 10 times.
Those are good books. They're actually one of my favorite books.
How to Win Friends and Influence People, I think, if you don't read any other book about business and marketing and how things work, like, I think every book written after that book is just really just breaking that book down in a different way.
Yeah, you're
like
probably right.
that. If you read that one, you don't have to read you still should read the other ones. So if you join my team, you get those, which has been good because, the agents that have joined are like, oh, like, and I think it helps them see how I think things. Getting a good coach has made a really big difference to streamlining things too, and to have, we meet every Tuesday at what time do I meet? Noon. For 30 minutes on a Zoom call. I mean, he's out of Florida and I'm out of Washington, but that's been game changing to kind of just, like I said, streamline things, bounce things off him. Hey, is this a bad idea? Good idea? What's the it's encouraging too, because he, like when I was like, hey, everything's going to shit, we better figure something out. I think I'm going to flip this house to keep my business going. I think a lot of people would have been like, your solution is you're going to put all the money you have in the whole world into this one house and pray it works. And I was like, yeah, I don't have a lot of options right now. And he was like, hell yeah, you are. Let's do it. And I probably needed that, because I think a lot of people have been like, hey, I think and doing that changed everything. I didn't know at the time what I was changing.
You changed your whole trajectory.
Yeah, the whole trajectory of everything changed based on that one thing. So a good coach as you grow, you don't need one when you're brand new, but probably when you get to the 30 to 40 units a year, you probably need to start getting, because that's when you got to start leveraging and outsourcing, hiring assistants, hiring staff.
Yeah, you want to start duplicating yourself so you can.
Yeah, you got to start, and then and that helped. I mean, it says, what would Jamie do above everyone's desk? If you join my team, you do a coaching call with him. Jamie's his name, and I think it's helped too, because we kind of got like a vision. Like everyone knows what the overall vision is. I flew the whole team down to Florida last December to meet with him for a day. Which I think made a huge difference, just to have, you'd agree, right? Everyone, not just like I meet with him every week. I know what the vision is. He knows what the vision is. Now everyone gets to talk to the source of where this is all coming from.
No, that builds camaraderie, and it builds.
Yeah, exactly. You got a camaraderie. You understand why I'm doing this, what we're doing it. And I think we're almost a year into a team, but like, I think everyone's on board with that. Like, hey, we all got to row the boat the same way. We got to,
play your role.
If someone's sick or hurt or whatever, we got to go.
No, I totally got it.
Yeah, I think a good coach makes all the difference.
No, truly, trust me. I think all the greats usually have a coach, honing some type of skill, because everyone has their strengths and weaknesses. And then, what's the biggest challenge for you think in 2025 in your personal role?
For 2025, I want to. I mean, our goal is 180 units, and what is it, 54 million. Our goal, I mean, I think my goal is to start shifting a little bit. I'm always going to be a realtor. I like it, but doing more of the investing stuff, and because as I've developed more built more of our own listings, and hopefully this development goes well, and I think it will. That helps the team grow, and it helps and do more that way. The other goal we have for 2026 is to start a scholarship. So the planning phase is this year, and then 2026 I want to start giving out scholarships to kids that maybe weren't going to go to school otherwise.
Ooh.
There's a lot of smart kids out there that maybe low income, their parents don't speak English, so they don't know, they'd love to go to college, but they don't know how. And I've got a couple of friends that are going to partner with me to do that. Because one of them grew up in a rough area. He goes, Brad, the problem is we're going to have to mentor them. Like, they don't know what to do is the problem. And no one in their life.
They don't have any guidance.
Yeah, someone's going to have. And because I helped a friend of my son's apply to college. And he's like, well, I don't know how. I was like, just go there and ask for the admissions office. And he's like, oh, that's it? And I was like, yeah, it's just over on 16th. You know where it is, bud. But, he doesn't know because no one in his family ever went to school before. So he doesn't know. Like, just go to the admissions office and ask for an application. Like, it's not, it's online too, probably. But
no, some people are just.
So that's kind of our, like I said, is kind of grow the team through growing our flipping business. And then, like I said, to launch the scholarship for 2026. So that's our upcoming goals.
Nice, man. Now, the fact that you're thinking about getting back to the community, like you're really making an impact, I would say.
Well, I'm pretty blessed to get to do all this, and I didn't get here by myself. And I think that, you got to give, my grandma loaned me the first money I got. She split it with me to buy the first project. And in retrospect, she should not have done it because I did not know what I was doing for my first flip ever. And everything went wrong on the planet. Damn. And, I thought at one point I lost my grandma's money. I was like, I will die before I'm calling her to say I messed up. Like, I am not going to, like, you can't lose your grandma's money.
Yeah.
When she bet on you and she probably shouldn't have. And, so I think about, I guess it's like, because everyone doesn't have a grandma that can loan it to them and say, here you go, I'll bet on you. When you, like you said, in retrospect, I did not know what I was doing. I was super in over my head. So I think, if you can give back to none of us got here by ourselves. So, like I said, this all works because Cassie's here, even if she refuses to be on camera. So.
That's so funny, man. Now you have a giver's game mentality. You truly are paying it forward. And where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years? Just more into the development side, or where do you picture yourself?
What are we gonna do? I don't know. Just keep selling houses and stuff.
Awesome.
Just be awesome. Cassie said. We've got a good team. It's been pretty cool. I just get to work with a bunch of people I like every day, so that's pretty cool. It's been cool to watch some of the people on the team just grow as people. I can see us getting to 8 to 10 agents, maybe. I don't really want to be any bigger than that.
Really?
And we're already at 4.
You're going to be like a boutique shop then.
Yeah, I don't like. Well, I didn't even think of 10 people I like that I'd want to spend all day with. So I don't want to hire more than 10 because I don't think I can think of 10 people I'd really want to spend all day with them. So, because I think that you could probably that was kind of my vision on the team. Like, we do a lot more than a lot of the other teams do. But I think if you give everyone all you can, like, you'll get on the back end of it when you, like you said, giver's game. Like, hey, let's, which I think that's a BNI thing. But because I think if you have 8 to 10 agents, you can really give and take care of them better. And in turn, they can give and take care of everything else better.
No, you're totally. I think it's more cohesive.
Yeah, because it has been cool to I feel like more like I get to go work with my friends every day on stuff than, I don't want to deal there's a lot of dumb agents out there. I don't want to have, someone in my office or team that I'm like, where did we get that person? Can we get rid of them?
No.
So I think that's where we'll be. And then probably kind of the same thing. Doing more investing stuff to help the team, but I don't also
maybe on a beach somewhere.
Cassie said she's going to be on a beach somewhere. So she's going to be working from home on the beach somewhere, but because she can't leave me. But no, I think, doing more of that probably, I still do open houses. I still make cold calls. I still, I might phase that out to where I'm just doing really repeat and referral myself. So.
Well, you're not scared of going back to basics.
No, my son's coming in. I didn't tell you this. He's like, I was like, I'll cold call with you. It's like, let's block out a few hours. I said, but I'm pretty good at it. Like, the team started doing it. And I think I set an appointment the first hour and they were like, looked at me like, I was like, guys, I used to do this a lot. I'm pretty good at it. I've done like, and then I started doing open houses again to kind of help them get going. And they're like, you got 3 leads this week? I was like, guys, I'm really good at this. I think you forget, like, I've done more open houses and cold calling than you can imagine. Like, I still got it. The skill doesn't go away. So yeah, next week, my son's, we're going to block off a couple hour time slots. He wants to start calling expireds and pre-foreclosures. So I guess that's what I'm doing next week is calling. But no, I still do it all. Like, but so yeah, in 5 years, hopefully I'm not doing that still. Like, it'd be nice to not, but it's fun and it's cool to hear them like get excited about it or be like, oh, this works. And I'm like, it works. Just trust me on this. Like, I'll do it with you. I'm not scared of it. So
trust the process.
Well, that's what a couple of them really caught on at the end of last year. They're like, Brad, this really works. I was like, just trust me. I got you.
Yeah, you're gonna lead them to the promised land.
Exactly.
So have that blind faith.
But yeah, I think in 5 years, probably like more repeat and referral. I probably hopefully won't be cold calling people still. I mean, I can if someone wants me to, or if we get slow. But and then more, it's fun to I have a good time. Like the oldest agent on my team is 26. So so it's been cool to kind of coach them up and really watch them grow and do better. And because they're profoundly talented, they just, hey, try it this way. Let's do this. Let's tweak what you're doing. And I just met them from being in the office and paying attention to young people that are smart that I'm like, okay, you get what we're doing.
Yeah, just fine tuning and molding them.
Yeah. And just being like, hey, let's make some tweaks and do this. So it's been really cool to see, hey, Brett, I've never made this much money before. And I'm like, good. Don't go buy stupid shit with it. And we have a little bit that of a problem of like, I paid you $20,000 last month. What do you mean you don't have any money? Well, I have like 2,000. And I'm like, bud, we got something else we're going to work on with you because I don't know what you're buying, but you need to stop.
Yeah, I think you touched on the beginning, the budgeting for the expenses.
Yeah, exactly. So we actually, but you know what? I talked to him and he opened up his own Edward Jones account to invest. And I was like, hey, here's my advisor. Here's their phone number. They're expecting your call. You do not want to be 65 and broke when you were making, piles of money your whole career.
Totally right.
If you don't want to buy rental properties, and I still, like I said, like I have rental properties and I still invest in my Edward Jones account and, to be diverse, like, so he opened that. So good. So it's cool to see, like I said, you're really helping these other agents do better, not just in selling more houses and like your real future that, someday you're going to want to retire and you're going to be glad that I hounded you to open this account.
Yeah. Well, they're going to thank you in 20 years for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, bro. You don't have to answer this question, but like, how do you handle criticism or negative feedback about your work if it's ever occurred?
From who?
Like, how do you handle criticism or negative feedback about your work if it's ever happened?
Oh, I get yelled at like all the time. Because first of all, lots of times it's by like squatters that we're kicking out, or the lady we evicted that got my phone number somehow and texted me all hours of the day and night, shitty things. And I was like, I got on the phone with the lawyer. I was like, can we kick her out right before Christmas? Because I've been getting shitty texts from her for months. We bought a house with a tenant in it, and we had to evict them. So I went and introduced and offered to pay her to leave, and she started swearing at me. I was like, I'll just hire an attorney and evict you. Like, I'm pretty like, either like I'm paying the money to somebody. I can either pay you to leave or I can pay the attorney to kick you out. She got my cell phone number, and the whole eviction process would like send me nasty texts. So it was really great. You know, and I think you got to consider the source, you know, like, and I try to be patient when it's a client that this isn't a very emotional experience with them. I mean, what, like dying, divorce, and buying a house is right up there after those two, is dealing with death and divorce. Like this is a stressful experience. These are human beings that you don't know where they're coming from. So be considerate of the source. And I think I can, so I got screamed at the other day, and I just should consider like, this is just somebody having a hard day. I can't give you your keys because one, I don't have them because the list agent hasn't given them to me. I don't know what you want me to do about that. They're not going to give them to me until they record. So this isn't you can keep yelling if you'd like, if that's making you feel, I mean, I didn't say that, but I was thinking like, if it makes you feel better, you can keep yelling, but I can't do anything. But I think you consider the source when it comes from a client. You know, I think you just got to consider their emotional state of how stressed out they are. I think, you know, I think as we've climbed up the ladder in our market, you know, you get a little criticism, but I think they hate us because they ain't us, and that's their problem. You know, you got to break some eggs if you want to make an omelet, and we're going to piss some people off on the way, and that's okay. I think a lot of them want what we have. I think we've gotten some not criticism, but I think some of it's like, hey, I got an awesome team of awesome people, and you can you say whatever you want. I don't care. Like, we're doing a good job. We put out, you know, we take good care of our clients. Things are lined up. You know, consider the source, I guess, because if I get constructive criticism, I guess, from my coach or an agent, maybe I really look up to, because there's agents that I still look up to, and, you know, which is funny because I've almost become, for some of the younger agents, I'm who they look up to. And I don't think they realize, like, there's agents I look up to that I'm like, I'm going to be like him someday. And they're like, I'm going to be like Brad someday. I'm like, actually, you don't want to be like me. You want to be like him. He's the guy, you know. You know, I have a goal is to be like him when I grow up. But, you know, I think you just consider the source. And, you know, is that somebody that you're not going to get a lot of negative criticism from people that care about you or people that are doing better than you? People that care about you and if they have something to say, then I think you should consider it, but they're going to deliver it that in a, you know, much better way, or like, hey, here's a suggestion. You know, most of your criticisms coming from crazy people, crazy squatters I'm kicking out or evicting, or agents that are jealous, or clients that are just having a rough day. And there's not a lot I can do about that. Like the lady screaming, like, I can't give you your keys. I don't have them. And he's not going to give them to me till 4:00. So what do you want me to do about it?
Yeah, it's got to be a little more patient, have a little more empathy.
But I mean, I don't know. That's how we deal, or that's how I deal with it.
No, you're totally right. I think the numbers state like out of 100 people, like 25 are gonna love you no matter what you say or do. 25 aren't, and then it's the other 60 that you get to like influence and persuade.
Yeah, and some of them exactly like, if you're gonna not like me no matter what, then why do I care?
Yeah, right. Yeah. You just gotta take. Yeah, it's sometimes it is just a numbers game. You just have to accept that. And then, who or what inspires you the most or influences you the most in your work in 2025?
Because I'm gonna be like Lars when I grow up. He's another realtor here in town, which is funny because he's older than me, and I think some of the new agents don't know who he is. And I'm like, oh no, you don't want to be like me. You want to be like Lars. Like Lars has piles of rentals, owns his own property management company, works when he wants to. He's, you know, I think, like I said, you know, doing that, but I think also building something that's bigger than you, watching the people that are working with you do better, be better, evolve as people. You know, I can help them sell a lot of real estate, but if I don't help you do better as a human being, I'm not really helping you. If you make a pile of money, but you don't ever figure out how to invest in it and you just buy dumb shit your whole career, I didn't help you. I did a bad job. I did you a disservice. So I think that motivates me a lot to really help the people that work here to do better and to whatever their goal is, get to that. So
no, you're truly hoping someone's personal development.
Yeah, I mean that's been neat to watch some of these guys grow as people, especially because a lot of them are pretty young.
Yeah, and of course, like hopefully they stick it through with real estate. I think the numbers say like 80% like don't make it after year 5 or something like that.
It's something like that, and it's rough out there. I think you're going to see a trend. I think it trended away from offices and teams and became very individual agents, by yourself, my own brand, my own this, my own that. And I think you're seeing a shift
back to teams,
back towards like, hey, I want to be part of a team. I want to be, because it's nice to have the help. It's lonely being an agent. It's nice to have someone to come back to and say, hey, what's going on? And, there's so many things to keep track of. But like I said, I think some of it's just like, I want some camaraderie. I want some help. I want some support. And paying a team a little bit that to have all that, it's not you're split to zero. Like you're paying a split to somebody. I charge a little bit more and I coordinate a lot for you. And I'll come help you when something happens. And Cassie was a graphic designer and webpage designer first. So we shoot all our own videos and edit it. So you want to shoot videos every day? That's fine. Take her out there. She does a lot more than that for the team, but that's one of the things we have. Like, if you follow us on Instagram, we post a lot of videos. Well, it's because we have somebody here. So are you going to go? You could hire someone to do it if you want to, or Cassie will just go shoot them with you whenever you want. So providing those, I think you're going to see a shift back more towards teams too, as real estate just gets tougher.
No, I think you're right on that. That is the newer trend. So switching gears just a little bit, like if you could have dinner with like any historical figure, like who would it be and why?
Who would I want to have dinner with?
That guy Dave something.
Oh, David Meltzer. Yes, David. Do you know who he is? He's an author.
No, I do not.
David Meltzer. I follow him on Instagram. He's out of California. I think I adore everything he posts. And then he posted once like, hey, if you message me, I'll give you a free book. And I was like, bullshit, you're going to send me a book free. He's like, no shipping, no nothing. I'll pay shipping. And so I messaged him and he sure as shit sent me a book autograph. Said, thanks for reaching out, Brad. I appreciate that. No shipping, no nothing. He's like, just message me your address. And yeah, David Meltzer's his name. And he's, I found him and he has a lot of kind of my thought process of like the importance of giving back and why and he said one of his things, he's like, I could be a lot richer than I am financially, but I wouldn't be because I wouldn't be giving. And that's what really this comes from. Like more money at a certain point doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, you're actually right on that.
Who cares? And so it's kind of cool. I haven't ever really done it, but sometimes he posts and it'll be like, hey, I'm in this city. I'll be in this location at this time if anyone wants to meet and talk. I've never been in the city he's in because he lives in Southern California and I live here, and I don't think he's coming to Yakima anytime soon. But it's pretty neat that he like practice what he preaches, gives back.
No, it's truly.
I think his saying is for every $20 in value, or for every $20 someone gives me, I want to give 50 in value. Like you should really like.
That's a great trade-off. You're getting a win-win for everybody at that point.
Yeah, that's kind of his thing. And so, yeah, like it'd be cool if I got to sit down and just talk with him for a while.
That's a really good philosophy.
Yeah.
Providing, at that point, you're chasing more like a fulfillment than happiness.
Yeah. And that's kind of his thing. Is like the money comes. Just do what you like to do and take care of people. Realistically, when anything we're doing, like when I'm telling these guys, hang with the process, it's like, because the process always works over time. And if you're always giving, money is just a byproduct of a process. It's not, you can't set your goal in dollars because dollars don't care. It's a process of what you're doing and how you're giving that will then create that as the byproduct of the process of what you're doing and creating. So if you create a value in anything, money has to be the outcome. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's a different way to look at it. And then when you do that, it has to work. That's how the world works. When you create value, it has to give you as a byproduct money for it.
No, that makes no sense. Everything you said is very logical, I would say. But I got 2 more questions for you before I let you go. Second to last question is, I'm probably gonna rewatch this when I'm really old. Could you leave me like a life message, please?
A life message. I don't know. Like, life's short. Just have a good time with whatever you're doing. I was talking to a friend the other day and they said, "Do you hear what you just said?" And I said, "No." And they said, "You just referenced your job as a fun activity you get to do every day." And I said, "Did I?" And they said, "Yeah." You was like, most people go to work. I just go do these fun activities with my friends all day. And I think that, and I was like, oh, well, I mean, that is how I think. But I think that's how everyone, like, as much as you can, and I don't always enjoy every minute of it, like, find a fun activity you like to do every day and then just do it a lot. Like, I work a lot. Like, I got here at 7:30 yesterday morning and I got home at 8 o'clock last night. And that's not uncommon, but like, it's a fun activity I get to do every day. Like, why wouldn't I go do this every day? I like it. Like, I don't know what else I would. It's fun. Like, so I think that would be, if you're old, like, I think when I'm old, I'll be like, this was awesome. I got to do a fun activity with my friends every day for my life.
No, you're totally right. Well, long nights, short years for you sometimes then, if you're doing those kind of hours.
Oh, yeah. I mean, but it goes quick, but then you get done and you're like, we really helped all these people.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know what else I'd do. So, I mean, I have hobbies, I go do stuff, but it's, but when you're doing something you like doing,
it becomes like a lifestyle brand almost.
Yeah, you're like, this is great. I just get to go do this every day.
No, truly. No, good for you, man. Like, most people love what they do, or most people love who they work with. That's why they usually stay at a job. But you get to do both. So
yeah, I get to do both, and I get to pick everyone I work with. So
you're winning.
When I sold radio ads, I worked with a car dealer. He said, "Brad, you want to know the best part about owning your own business?" And I said, "I don't know what." And I was thinking, I know you have a pile of money. You don't have to tell me it's because you're rich as shit. I know that. I know where you live. And he said, I get to work with everybody I like. If I don't like you, you don't work here. And when you get to work with just people you like, it's worth more than money to just, I come here and I like personally everybody I work with. And I was like thinking, like, that would be, at the time I didn't register as much, but in retrospect, like, I get that now.
Yeah, you're always optimistic and grateful.
Yeah.
No, you're totally right. Sorry. And then my last and final question for you, Brad, is like, what legacy do you hope to leave behind through your work when it's all said and done?
I mean, the long goal is to this scholarship. I really, my goal is to give away $100,000 a year.
Dang.
And I'm hoping that, I've got a pile of rentals and we're piling them up more, is that when I'm gone, you can keep giving back even when you're not here anymore. So, that's my legacy project, for lack of a better word. And because I've been really blessed and been given a lot to be here. And if, my grandma doesn't loan me that money that time, what happens, right? Maybe I'm not here. And maybe there's someone that just needs that little bump to, and I've had other things in life where people help me where I was like, hey, this worked because somebody, I partnered with somebody or met the right person. So that's my, big project I want to give back when this is all done.
Dude, power to you. Like, I hope, maybe when I'm big time, I can contribute to that for you too.
Well, and that's my thought. Is I've talked to a couple of friends that are like own big bit. I was like, hey, bud, you're making a donation. You didn't fall to the top. I know, you got help, and we all got help. Nobody got here by themselves.
No,
and that's my thought, is if we can go get donors and different things, like, this isn't unrealistic, because if we got 100,000 a year, can we help, 5 kids, 20 grand, that should get you a good start to get through, to start your school, to maybe, and again, to be for kids that maybe weren't going otherwise.
No, you're totally right.
And to make it not like, one of my things is like, it's not going to be a GPA requirement. Like, if you can because some of these kids, maybe their GPA sucks because they don't have the internet, because they can't afford it. So what is that kid doing that's busting his ass twice as hard, but he wasn't given a fair shake to start? So that's my long-term, like I said, I guess, legacy project, is to do that.
Nah, I truly hope I hope you manifest.
Yeah, so we will, some way or another. So
I'm sure you will. You seem like the type that you seem very pragmatic, that you'll execute.
Well, we'll just, like, I believe that what's the saying? All right, it says it in my house. It says, some people want, when I walk in my door from my garage, it's hung up. is that some people want it to happen, some people wish it would happen, some people make it happen. Like, you know, you just make it happen. You don't, you know, you burn the ships. We're going to do this. I don't care what the consequence may be. Let's make it happen. You know?
Yeah, no excuses, solution oriented only.
Exactly. And that's how I think we do things. That's how Cassie does things. And it really, like, you know. So, yeah.
Yo, Brad, I thank you for sharing your time with me today. Truly an honor. Ladies and gentlemen, you just heard from a king representing the state of Washington, Brad Chandler. Brad, how do you like people getting in touch with you?
My email is brad@wbradchandler.com. My phone number is 509-312-0921. Text me is probably easier, and then I'll call you because I'm busy a lot. And then follow us on Instagram at wbradchandler. I mean, that's, you know, you can see what we do, how we do it. We post all of our gross houses. I post all my thoughts on real estate and investing and what we do. So, yeah, that's probably the best way to get a hold of us.
Oh, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Please get in touch with Brad. He's more than happy to assist you in anything. Thank you for your time, Brad. You're the man.
All right. Thank you. Have a good one.
Likewise. Same to you.